Hello everyone, welcome back to another episode of the TechGuy podcast. Now that Apple and Google are together again, I think we can assume that OpenAI and Apple deal is kind of in a breakup situation. We are not that much clear into what is happening in that scenario, but it is final now. Siri is going to be backed up. The improved Siri is going to be backed up with the Gemini models, and yeah, as usual, OpenAI is trying to get into or trying to create a sustaining economical model for their whole company to keep running and make the whole investments in this AI industry, especially in their own company, makes sense. That will be their whole agenda, and that is what they are doing, trying to get into health sector, which is a tricky, risky business, and that is hard, which is not surprising because OpenAI is always taking risks. So yeah, we're going to talk about that. Apart from that, we have other headlines from CES that we did not cover in last episode. That is couple of events that happened basically from these big companies, that is AMD, Intel, uh, NVIDIA. As usual, we are going to talk about that. So it's a packed up episode. So let's get into the episode number 47 of the TechGuy podcast. Here we go. First, we will talk about the remaining CES that I talked about in the last episode. That these events, a couple of events that we did not talked about in the last episode. That is AMD, Intel, and Nvidia. Let's talk about first the Intel one. So, if you don't remember or if you have watched that episode or not, but we did cover Intel last year. So where Intel gave out that kind of I will say an official statement regarding their condition and they will be cutting back a lot of things because it was not in a good shape even before whole downfall of them last year. Since 2024, Intel was going through a rough patch, and they did make an official statement regarding cutting down billions of dollars in terms of investments and in terms of lot of because of the chip maker, because Apple got uh, they lost the deal because of Apple, basically a big market in the industry, because Apple made their own silicon which is far better than what Intel had, and still to this day it is mostly about people prefer it. It is really good. So we did cover that whole situation, the amount of cutting back in terms of people layoff which happened throughout last year of Intel. So if you want to check out that whole thing, you can go that episode. It is one of our I will say popular episode that I see on Spotify specifically. But so Intel launched their new Core Ultra 3 series. This 3 series is different from x86 series, which is a series that they call, like, I don't know too much about it, but they launched the new Core Ultra 3 series and new graphics that is called B390 series, that is they are working on now. If you know that Intel, they are mainly into chips processors, that in rather than into graphics. We know Intel much more into the chip market, so they are in a graphics market not as big as other, like for long period of time. They are with their Arc series for lot of, like, last 7 to 8 years, where they are into the industry of graphics, but they have not found that kind of a success specifically when it comes to that, I will say, which is not into kind of a recommendation, like what I see around on in terms of recommendations, in terms of how people perceive or how people recommend throughout the graphics industry brand. But apart from that, they, like I said, they had rough year due to, like, chips not working, especially rough year last year. We did also cover that Intel, some of the Intel chips were not working well, especially like they had a lot of issues, especially the 11th i9 series, specifically, I think. I don't remember too much into that right now, but yeah. Then they kept, like I said, failure to keep up with the industry, and because of this whole situation, US government took the advantage of what Intel was right now at especially last year, and they acquired 10% of Intel. So basically, US holds the government holds the 10% stake in the Intel now. So yeah, they basically saved it by owning 10% of a kind of an in Intel, which is a smart move from the government side, because they know Intel is a chip marketing, like they want to control the chip marketing and whole chip market, because the reason why the whole this market needs to be controlled, because they are one of the, not just because they are the biggest there, because in future that is going to be the whole war, again geopolitical war. So that is kind of an whole political thing that we are not get into, but you get the thing, like because of having that kind of an power, having that kind of an stake in that company, they can control the whole chip market from there too. Now they have hands on their NVIDIA. Now they have loosened up some rules that they can export, like lot of stuff are there. We will talk about, if you want me to talk about that kind of a thing. But apart from that, like I said, they took advantage, because Intel was definitely not going to survive on its own. Ultimately they had to get some kind of investments, so they got it from the US government, which we never know, kind of an hit and miss situation, because Intel is starting out something kind of a new. The whole pitch of kind of an Intel was basic in the sense, kind of an they remain on the old structure. They talked about the new chips, and they talked about again old x86 chips also, basically trying to say that both chips are doing well. In the industry, we are investing in AI. We are up there with, and we are into this competition still to this day, kind of an that kind of an feeling I got from the whole Intel event that I watched on YouTube here. So yeah, couple of things that talked about which are coming later this year, that some kind of handheld platforms, basically, that is also going to be there. So nothing much more to talk about Intel. It's just, I was it was kind of a statement that they are still there. I feel like that kind of a way, rather than there was nothing too much for me to understand, because like I said, we are not into too much that kind of a thing. We are more of an AI analysis, discussion, predictions, uh, model testings. I test models, I give you my reviews, those reviews. In future I might buy those kind of an chips, into PC building, basic stuff. We can talk much more detail into those stuff. That's why I don't talk in detail in terms of number wise when it comes to at least this kind of a stuff. But AMD, same for the AMD, they had a similar approach. uh, it was a big, kind of a show AMD did, basically event, and nothing much. They launched a new chip, and the whole event was how industry needs computing, and we have a chip for it, we have the computing for it, and everyone should buy us from it. That was the whole pitch from AMD. Like, uh, sorry, OpenAI's co-founder Greg came to the show too, like at the first. Then there was Blue Origins, kind of an spokesperson. Then there was a lot of other companies in the films, in the like creation of models, like scenes, those kind of companies, like making 3D structures, those kind of stuff. Like, it was, most of the event for AMD was, we build a chip that is capable of doing a lot of stuff. World needs computing, companies need computing, so you should buy from us. That's it. So that was the whole pitch of AMD, and nothing more to talk about in that sense. So yeah, that was it. Like, and Nvidia, talking about Nvidia did talk about couple of things, which kind of an is just shows why they are not moving further this industry again, year by year I'm talking about. uh, they had kind of a similar approach like AMD that I talked about earlier, but they kind of at least talked about in the robotics department. They kind of talk about in the self FSD, full self driving, or self driving, that also showed us a demo, actual live demo, not live demo, a pre-recorded demo that was kind of an, I will say, a good demo to show a kind of a full self driving, full self FSD, kind of an with no kind of an intervention. You can go and watch that video in that on their channel. It's available. uh, it's there. But like I said, similar approach as a or like any other chip maker in the industry, like AMD or Intel. Like, we are there, you want us, people need computing, sorry, uh, this new AI technology. This new AI technology needs a lot of computing. We have a powerful graphics and the whole chip that you can get us from us, and that's it. That was the whole piece, which is again since last year. That was the whole chip from their side to like since 2025, I believe NVIDIA is doing that. Like, yeah, this is the chip we have, this is kind of an graphics we are selling to this company. Like, it is kind of an boring event because NVIDIA has their own event later on, which they, I believe, will reveal the new graphics card, which they will also reveal their new kind of an uh, new GX series, G4 series, whatever it is, in that show most probably, which is kind of an in next 2 or 3 months most probably. I think it's in March. Let's see whenever it is. But apart from that, let's talk about the some full self driving, because even after showing us the full self driving, you know, there are not any major cars out right now commercially, or kind of an, I will say, in the market right now, which not provide like full self driving. That is level 3, even level 4, level 5 is even out of kind of a touch for a lot of people. Because as even though NVIDIA talks about how full self-driving is the future, we know it is kind of a future for a lot of people. We also know that whole companies are built up upon full self-driving, like Tesla. Like, whole their selling point is that, or was that. I will talk about that too. But the point is, full self-driving is still not out there. Even the amount of computing we have right now, the capabilities we can do, even the amount of uh, tech that is evolving every year, even these AI companies shouting out that this new model is revolutionizing, this new model is one of the greatest model of all time. Every time OpenAI makes their statements like this, the problem is it's not solving still the existing problems that we are seeing right now. Now, I know there are not just like, even if the technology is available, there will be a lot of regulations, there will be a lot of laws, but the core part of it is that it's still not available. You know, there is a reason why Waymo is still not available in other side of, even in the whole itself country, that is in the US. And because they're still testing out, because it's built for one specific region, because the reason why, because that specific region, because of that specific temperature, because of that specific weather, it can't work on, let's say, on the New York side. The reason why it can't work, it's not just it's the traffic conditions, the people, the roads, the geographical conditions, but like geographical condition of the map. It's other parts like weather. Will it even survive it there in terms of weather conditions overall throughout the 12 months of period of time, like a 1 year whole period of time, like that, still in the testing phase. So we are still improving in that kind of a technology. And even apart from just Waymo or any other cars that are trying to get into, especially full self driving, like even Tesla cab is there out there that they are trying to get into it. But the problem right now is it's still not available in commercial, like people can go and buy it. I think the reason why it's core to the technology, because the technology is still, they're trying to figure out, they're still trying to figure out full self driving. Even the level 3, level 4 is still not available, I think. Because the reason why, like I said, it's not just the tech is there, it's not just that I feel like the AI is not that much powerful. Even if AI is powerful, the problem is we need to actually solve the actual problem with people, with the whole manufacturer, the research team that are working out there for every company. Like for Google, it is Waymo. For Tesla, it is their whole, not just Tesla cab, but their whole company, like with their whole models that they have sell with the promise of giving the FSD. Now, coming back to the Tesla here, we recently saw a tweet from Elon that full self-driving will be not sell that kind of a models. In like full self-driving will become kind of a subscription model than one-time payment. So you can just see economically, I feel like from this statement alone I can see, or at least we can assume that economically it is not feasible. I believe that giving people full self-driving, I think it is not also economical to get kind of an even to the upper levels. So FSD 2, that is level 2, is out. Even if it's out there, we still need a subscription service to even buy it. Like why can't I pay a single money kind of an upfront that we used to regularly buy? So specifically to use full self driving, we need to buy a subscription for it, which is, we still don't know how much amount can be. It can be much more higher, definitely, because it's not your typical streaming services that you are going to just buy it. So yeah, let's see how the pricing it will be, how the people response is, because people are not definitely happy, because full self-driving, it's hard to get it out there. It's, even if it's possible, like I think NVIDIA talked about last year about Omniverse creating this data is been created by itself by these AI models in their own digital world. The problem right now, it's not just that. The problem is the core technology. I think it's still not evolved. We are seeing cars every year, but I don't think the industry is moving that much full of a capacity, even as so much so called Elon Musk promised last year that the cab will be fully self driving in the next 6 months, that he announced last year. In 2024, in 2025 September, we go and see what it is. There is another person in the Tesla cab that is trying to kind of like needs to be there to control the car if something goes wrong. So I don't think that is what the kind of an being held kind of an solution is. If a person is always there in that kind of an Tesla cab. So that, like I said, it is still so much in kind of an initial phase when it comes to full self driving. Why we are not evolving, why these AI models, and why these even big companies that are trying to sell the chips to these companies, or just to us when it comes to investments into their own company, just to show us that is not going to happen magically solve the all problems. Just because of that, I believe, just because of that, AI is getting a model every year. The ultimate in terms of consumer side, that what people are getting used to on their hand, it's still not good. That is what ultimately I'm trying to say. So whole all this whole kind of an AI computing, we need much more computing by the chips from us. NVIDIA is telling that, AMD is telling that, Intel is telling that. Why this? And then these AI companies like OpenAI and Google Gemini is telling that why we even Oracle, like why we need data centers, why we need much more investments in ourselves. The problem is the end goal, that is the consumer, that we are going to get these models, they're going to get this whatever they create. Like in car it is FSD, in our mobile phones it is assistance, or even any kind of AI features. It's still not there. So the output is, like we always say, is still not there, and the input is billions of dollars of investments. So there is so much that companies can do ultimately. And if the output is actually not there, so like I said, even let's say AMD has given us insane amount of chips to Tesla, that is hundreds of 100 times powerful. The problem is the chip is not solving the actual problem. The people who are in the R&D department and developing the technology in the Tesla are going to solve the problem, going getting that powerful chip. So like I said again, like I said, big investment dollars, billions of dollars of investments, and the output is still not the same. That is what we call, again, coming back to the whole point of bubble. And when the bubble bursts, whole company crashes, investments crashes, a lot of people lose their job because there needs to be layoff, because company can't sustain this kind of investment because they fail to give the output they can. So like I said, there can only be so much amount can be burned from this company, and there can be so much amount can be they can risk it ultimately. So this year is kind of a pivotal when it comes to AI adaptation from a lot of companies. Like we are going to talk forward about what Google is doing because of that, what Apple is trying to do, what OpenAI is trying to do with another two topics I have in this episode. So yeah, that is it, I will say, for CES. uh, there were a lot of other gadgets, I definitely know, but the problem with that is this uh, that could have taken a lot of time of our I'm making a different kind of a video that it will cover everything, that all gadgets that I saw in the, not just CS, that will be coming throughout the month of January, and that will do those kind of videos will be uploaded every month. So basically you will get to know overall what kind of devices are getting out, what kind of products are these companies getting out every month. Kind of a really good kind of a thing to catch up every month. One video, I think, at the end of January or February, next week or at the first week of February, you will get that video. I am working on it. So yeah, that is it, I will say, for CES 2026. I have to tell you guys about it. There is nothing more. So yeah, let's talk about the Google and Apple deal now, which is kind of an important for the episode. Like even I in the intro I talked about it. So Google and Apple made a deal using that Apple will be using Gemini models for foundation for Apple Intelligence. Basically, Gemini will be getting used as backend technology, I believe, because from the wording that we have gotten from official statement, that is from the both side. I will link down that statement in the description. You can go and check it out. That is on Google Blogs. So it is going to be a backend technology for Apple Intelligence. Apple new updated Siri coming this year, like we know obviously, but coming this year will be backed by Gemini models, and this is what actually has been said on the collaborated statement that they have given. So basically, yeah, they have actually said that the improved Siri that is coming this year is being backed by Google Gemini. So I think couple of things are clear here. That is from the statement, that is Apple was not ready for Apple Intelligence, that is AI integration with iPhone, and especially not with Siri before. Even with the OpenAI in the picture, that they partnership with last year, since 2024, that they partner with OpenAI, and they depend. Apple definitely failed when it come to AI, which is not kind of an, I will say, kind of a thing that is not out there. People know it, we know it, we have been talking about throughout the last year, which was kind of a major point of talking in the industry. Now this year we are expecting, even I talked about it before too, that Apple might be getting towards other companies, might buy other AI companies that are there, which was Perplexity was one of them. That I heard that there were rumors about Apple even buying it out, which is kind of a not surprising. But this deal, when it came out, especially Google and whole Apple deal, which was not kind of an surprising, because Apple and Google are kind of an old partners, I will say. They have been partnering, especially with the whole when the whole Safari deal was uncovered, like whole Safari browser, and why when how Google made the default browser, and which by the way paying to Apple $20 billion a year, kind of an amount to make make Google a Safari's default browser, which was kind of an insane, which was kind of an reveal when the whole DOJ trial was going on with why with the whole Google as a monopoly company. So yeah, like I said again, it is kind of an wild, and I will say definitely that it is not surprising as usual. According to the rumors, again it is not kind of an confirmed, but you can say it is kind of an confirmed because it is coming from kind of an a good sources. But $1 billion have been kind of an or kind of an exchange here. So basically Apple will be paying Google $1 billion every year to use their model, I believe. That is what kind of and we have seen, not an official, but yeah. So uh, again, not a surprising deal, which I believe the reason why only Apple pivoted from Google to go with the OpenAI was because, first of all, couple of reasons. Apple was desperate to make go into AI, which kind of, and I will say, really, in terms of marketing, they really nailed it, making AI as Apple Intelligence. One of the really good marketing strategies they already had, but OpenAI, I think that was kind of an like really desperate that they wanted to get into it. Also, the fact that Google was into DOJ trial at that period of time in since 2023, 2024, which was kind of a big deal, was happening back in those years. Google was actively in the news because of that, and that was the period of time where Apple had to disclose this deal of $20 billion, which was kind of surprising for all of us, at least for me, was. And that is why I think that because of DOJ matter, Apple had to move to OpenAI, and they've, I think, were working on their own models. I will say the Apple models did not work as they wanted to, even, and the research and whatever the team that was developing Apple AI intelligence or Apple AI own models did not work as planned as go, I believe, and they had to scrap the whole team, which they did last year, and they had to tone down or basically delete the whole advertisement of Apple Intelligence. They removed a lot of ads because of that, which were already posted of Apple Intelligence, of especially the improved Siri one, which was heavily marketed with video ads too, with a lot of celebrities out there. So that was there. And last year, Apple even single hand like talked about Apple Intelligence not at all on the both event, that is WWDC and even the Apple iPhone event launch. Now we know that Apple was going with other companies with other AI models because they don't have the capacity to build fast enough of their own model, and they don't want it to rush. So there were a couple of models, there were a couple of companies they were looking for, that is Claude, that was basically Anthropic also was one of them, and also Perplexity, which again kind of an big deal was going about even buying it. So there were talks since last year that Apple was even getting aside from OpenAI and looking for more options, which is again not kind of an, I will say, surprising, which again Apple needs something kind of an stable or not too much kind of an volatile company, which OpenAI is. OpenAI, like I said, is a risky kind of an the reason, like, it's just shocking, it is still out there company and making and giving us these AI models that we are getting out right now because of their model and their income. Basically the model and the investments that are going into it are insane, and the way they are into the public image of the people is not good. So that's why I think Apple, which go with the Google, and the whole DOJ matter was toned down. It was majorly finished because Google was held as a monopoly, and it's still going on with the random other stuff that Google needs to basically sell out their Chrome business, a lot of other things too. So that is still going on. We will talk about that in future, but now the DOJ matter is whole over. Apple then turned out to be towards to Google, and now they are being collaborated with each other. So I think that is what happened all throughout the whole timeline, which I'm my kind of an assumption that I'm going through it. So like I said, partnership makes sense. They are always they were partnered together over a period of time, last since couple of years maybe. I don't know since when the Safari deal started, but Gemini is again kind of a really good model, kind of a safe company to bet on to make a deal. So that's why they choose Google, which is not surprising. Now I believe that Apple is definitely working on its own model. They are just not working or going towards. I feel like uh, rushing their own model, because the person or the basically who is working on right now the Apple Intelligence is the person who was working on the Vision Pro. So I don't know his name, but yeah. So that is kind of a restructure they did with the Apple Intelligence, and who is going to be in charge of that. So this year we definitely might getting an improved Siri. We might also get improved Siri in couple of months with iOS 26.4 update, I believe, which will be coming in the month of March for everyone that they promised. So let's see if we get kind of an official statement or not regarding that, or we will get improved Siri in WWDC, that is in the month of June. A lot of speculations are there, so a lot of probabilities will be definitely there on when and how will they will be going. But the major point here is that Apple has moved to Google not just to get Gemini as kind of a separate thing in the whole Apple. Google has Gemini will be backing up Apple Siri, which is a big deal, I believe. Which the reason why I believe OpenAI just lost one of their biggest biggest opportunity, not just for their whole marketing, I will say part of it, because they are now going to be associated with Apple. That was going to be a good thing for them, but also they also lost the whole financial support, which could have been a lot of better in throughout a period of time. uh, the reason why I believe that, because this was the whole point of these AI companies, that they are making their own models. This is the whole point of OpenAI, is their ChatGPT's model, Google's Gemini models, to sell their models to existing customers, basically existing products out there. So basically to these smartphone companies, that is Apple, Google, uh, Samsungs of this industry. Then they're here in Asia, that is Oppo, Vivo, Huawei, which is again Google is conquering there with their whole Gemini model, because it is in the Android industry. That is the whole point of these models that they are trying to get. The whole point of these models and that they're building is to sell these models to these companies, so that they can adopt these models into their own products. So it basically keep the machine running of their own, and that is how OpenAI will be keep running their own business. That is the business model of all these AI companies, giving the opportunity. They didn't took it, or I don't know why they didn't follow up, and what the whole case of OpenAI is. We will get kind of a situation of on their side will couple of months later. But there was kind of a big ruckus, like there was kind of a big deal, because even Elon Musk again today here in this scenario, which making Gemini as kind of an, I will say, Apple getting into Siri, which made kind of an he tweeted again like kind of an making Google again a bigger part of this industry, kind of an getting into monopoly, or getting Google has too much kind of an power, which is not going. We are not going to lie about it. Like you can definitely see that Google has their hands on every other part of the kind of an industry in the tech world. At least they are in like they are one of the most giant companies out there, which has one of the most insane amount of not just capabilities of people out there in terms of talent, but also in terms of burning money, because they are kind of a giant for past 20 to 25 years in this industry. So like I said, a big opportunity lost by OpenAI, because that is was kind of a model that they are working on. That is why also the reason why OpenAI is trying to get their trying to get the device out, because their models will be getting into that device, and that will be kind of a product of their own, which will get into people's hands, which will kind of, and I will say, improve their kind of an economical financial model, because just selling the models to these companies, buy the subscription just by the subscription I don't think, or just by the subscription of selling these models that is that we are using right now, is going to be a sustainable business for them, at least in the long term. They need to get into everything that they need. That's why they are getting into health now, that we are going to talk about later now. And that's why they are getting into their own products. So you just see the chain of reactions, and that's the business model of not just them but a lot of other AI companies. And that is why we are going to see a lot of other AI companies this year, not big but small AI companies using and creating their own models and getting into how those models. And that's why every other company is kind of and trying to create their own model on by side. That's why they are getting into creating their own teams, how they are going to get kind of, and I will say, in this industry sustaining with this new technology, you know. So that's why the collaboration is always, that's why I believe that Apple Intelligence, so basically Apple did not wanted to rush into AI right now, which was a kind of an out of their going way, which I did feel kind of in 2024 when I first saw Apple is getting into Apple Intelligence, like AI whole thing that they talked about in the WWDC 2024, which was kind of a rushing thing by them, which again, if they would have achieved it, kind of and good for them, but they did not, you know. So they have, like I said, in the last year too, but in 2025 when they launch iPhone, that they are taking 2 steps back, but they are going into fundamentals. They are not trying to rush anything, which is kind of in this deal that they are done with the Google, that is improved Siri, whatever it is, because no one knows what people need actually right now, even in the consumer end, that is in the general sense, like what actually people need, what the use case, what kind of features are kind of an banger out there for people, that is kind of an do or die thing. If that feature is not there, we are not getting your device, those kind of things. So there are a lot of ways, there are a lot of we need a lot of data in that side. So kind of, and that's why Apple did not rush into it right now. That's why they are not getting out their models, even if it's ready, which is not definitely. So yeah, let's see. uh, in last, I will recommend the Mark Gurman's blog on Bloomberg that he did. That is in the link in the description, which if you want to go in terms of number wise, in depth, what is this whole situation in terms of deal, what is happening. He is also one of those person who kind of reveals like kind of a lot of rumors that I talked about get from his side. He kind of has his inside person that he gives tips to him, that he talked about all about in that blog, which you can go and check it out, which is simple. Kind of a really good guy. Majority of the time his news are always right, or in the same track at least, you know. That is what I will say. So check it out, his blog link is in the description. So yeah, kind of a big thing. We will take a break here, and after a break we will be talking about the OpenAI, and they are getting into what health industry basically. AI X health, I will call that topic, but it is an interesting thing to see how AI can help in that industry, and is even OpenAI can going into a right route, giving us kind of a transparency towards it, and what are the challenges in that industry. We are going to talk about that break after a break. So I will be right back. Welcome back. So let's talk about the OpenAI and their whole OpenAI in health. Basically, AI, they are getting into it. I think they are the first one getting into like trying to promote in health right now. But yeah, so OpenAI, it started with OpenAI acquiring Torch, I believe. OpenAI also started promoting about health, which I actually wanted to talk about, but then this whole thing happened, then which actually all thing got connected, which makes sense now, obviously. Uh, OpenAI also talked about health on their YouTube channel now. They are promoting it with their videos and how people might be using OpenAI or ChatGPT models, like for these AI chatbots, even for the voice kind of a thing, kind of an for making their life better in terms of knowing medicine, whatever you are taking, whatever the conditions you have, kind of an that kind of an promotional way they did. They are making kind of an in their progress way. Even in years when AMD and uh, basically invited Greg to talk about AI and chatbots, basically AI. He talked about health majorly, mostly in that. So yeah, you can definitely see they are promoting it for a while now, for last 2 weeks basically, that we have gotten this. So it the whole new health feature will be available on the existing ChatGPT app. You use it on phone or in PC or basically on web. It will be available just in your regular chat app in health, separate from basically it will be kind of an separate health tab, actually named health in your tab sections in the ChatGPT app. Health chats will not be used to train model. It will be secure and separate. That is what they're saying. Like, I am just this is what their words are basically. You can connect your health apps much as Apple Health, MyFitnessPal. Don't know if other fitness apps are available basically like Strava and other ones. I think they will be available throughout the period of time, and every app will be available. But that's there. And apart from European economic market, I don't know what region that marks. Basically, I think all European. Then there is Switzerland. Then there is UK. Except these countries, I think everyone will get this new feature that is for even from free user to everyone paid user, obviously. Which is, but yeah, apart from these whole three regions, basically everyone will have this feature. Um, so yeah, I think that is it. Kind of an big stuff. Kind of an in the statement that is important for now, that like they talked about they will be not using your health data, which is kind of an, I will say it depends upon how you trust them, because they are already going on. But now, one of the major and most difficult industry to enter, I will say definitely. The reason why it is difficult, because you are playing life and death situation there. Health is one of that situation. It is not as simple as just yeah, ChatGPT gave me wrong answers, it hallucinates. I got a B minus in my test because of that, or oh, my video is ruined because ChatGPT did not did well in terms of scripting. You know, it is not that situation. It is kind of an life and death situation. For it can become a life and death situation. So it is kind of an important to get into that aspect of it, that it is kind of an risky, a kind of an edgy sword that you always will be having. So like I said, it is kind of an complex industry to get into, which I believe that if definitely AI has a lot of potential to help a lot of not just people, I believe, but hospitals and the whole work system, that the systems we have right now. you know so majority of the thing that I believe that people are asking, and even I am asking, in terms of health, what I am asking is more about conditions, information that I actually didn't know, or the fact that what kind of medicines, even let's say I take, what doctors when some recommend it, even after getting those kind of medicine, what it actually does, basically what they are actually promoting. Knowing your health is really important. What kind of decisions, what kind of conditions are you have is really important to about it, and that is always on the go. That is will be given to you, that information in much more simplified way than what doctors will be giving. Because doctors can't sit around 1 hour 2 hours with every other patient that they get to explain this stuff. But ChatGPT can, you can take your own time with these AI chatbots basically. So yeah, I am been using health related question, not when I'm getting sick, because when I'm get sick I don't care about it. I just go to the doctors and just get it done, get their opinion like rest of. But majority of the time I do talked about health with ChatGPT a lot of time, with other AI models too, and how this response is really important. Yeah, when in especially in this kind of scenarios, let's say it's not like majority of the people will be asking regarding health questions that they are facing right now. Also, whenever they are sick, is it this medicine to take okay, or they will be not going to the doctors to take kind of a medicine, so I don't know if someone just ask is like, I'm sick, I'm this, this is stuff, that is, these are the symptoms that I'm having, and ChatGPT will recommend them, yeah, just take this medicine this time and you will be okay. Or because I don't think that is ideal, because ultimately ChatGPT is not saying you ultimately in front of you, it's just telling what you are describing it, and doctors are pretty much good at what they do in terms of not just hearing your symptoms, but getting to know you physically in front of you, how are you looking right now, you know and asking upfront questions, so that is another kind of thing. So like I said, how will ChatGPT responds in that kind of scenario if someone just is just using ChatGPT to ultimately kind of a replacement of their doctors? Like, I don't think that is ideal, because first of all, they are not trying to replace doctor, at least for now, they have mentioned in their whole blog post that you should always go to the doctors, like, to whatever your condition, whenever you are sick. ChatGPT is just to understand and give you the information, and give you the kind of an uh, information, basically, that about your condition, whatever it is in front of you, which is always, that is also thing, but also other kind of stuff, depending upon or whatever the health condition you have, to basically make sure that you don't do something irrational, basically, when it comes to eating, taking another kind of medicine. So I feel like I said again, there are a lot of complexities in this. Like, if let's say people starting to get replace doctors, their own doctors, when like they will not go to doctors, but they will just ask ChatGPT, this is kind of a simple symptoms. Even what is going to be the response of ChatGPT, we don't know. Is it responsible response? What kind of tone, what kind of intensity of response? We also don't know the kind of, and I will say, because doctors get a lot of stuff when you are in front of it, especially if you call doctor, if you go to them, because they do check of self, like, they do check out a lot of stuff by themselves, which you probably won't even be having those symptoms, but those kind of things be. So there is a lot of probabilities, lot of possibilities, lot of harm to using this in a way, like, depending upon how people use it is going to be really really tricky there. Like, if someone is using just to understand what they are going through, much more information regarding their condition, getting clarification about something kind of an surgery they are going to, especially even with the administrative work that they have to go to with the insurance one, which can help a lot there too, which is kind of an, I will that, like I said, that health, in terms of health, ChatGPT can do, or like this AI chatbot can do a lot in terms of just explaining you things in a simple manner, and also the kind of stuff you need to go process, not just through your doctor side of way, but also in terms of your insurance, your administrative, that the work you go. So that's there, making and conversation around that is important, that how and where you should be using ChatGPT, especially the health one that they are launching, which is still not available to me, at least I have still to this day, that the day I'm recording it, or even the day you will be getting this episode, I don't think I will be getting the health, because they will be rolling out that feature gradually to everyone. So like I said, that this industry, whatever it is, in when it comes to health, is really not just tricky, but also really kind of I will say complex and risky. You know, what kind of intensity, like, even though in their blog post they have said that they have worked with thousands of physicians around the world to get the right tone of answers, right tone of things, we still don't know where this data is basically whatever the data is getting pulled by this chat gpt to give you the answers. Where is that data? So what's the basis that basically where this health information regarding the data is being pulled? You know what I'm trying to say here is ultimately where is the ultimate source that the chat gpt is getting from when it comes to health claims, or when it comes to uh, give you kind of an information regarding whatever the information you have asked to it, whatever the conversation that you are having to it, is it even legit? So which is always kind of in case that ChatGPT will not disclose where the data is coming from. A part of the reason is because obviously they are going to be a lot of trouble, I believe, if they do it, but we don't know. I even ask ChatGPT if where this information coming from. They have specifically not mentioned in their blog post. Maybe in future, if I ask something, let's say, I will try it out definitely. But when I ask specific information on regular basis, it just gives me a lot of web pages, websites. Like I said, when it comes to health, a lot of kind of research all around the world that is going on, and you never know what is being approved by the government, what doctors use it. So a lot of, I will say, anomalies, like, or kind of a lot of loopholes, or a lot of unknown is there when it comes to this. A lot of question rises, I believe. So where the information is coming from, what information or where it is getting from, and that is going to you, is it even legit, or should I even like a lot of people will be using it. So that is the major concern for me when it comes to this. Let's see, we people will be using for it, because people are definitely, even if it is not still health, a lot of people are definitely using chat gpt for health related purposes. I will be not surprised that a lot of people are using chat gpt for as a kind of a replacement for their doctor, by giving them symptoms and give what kind of medicines are being used for kind of, and for that sickness that I'm having right now. So yeah, which is not good ultimately. Like, AI definitely and and also the fact that AI can definitely be helpful when it comes to hospital administration work, because it takes a lot of time. I have seen a lot of doctors, and a lot of major problems in the system that we have right now is one of the most is that the administrative work they have to go through it, like the time, the form filling stuff, the like lot of stuff, that kind of documenting the data stuff of especially of the patient. A lot of time just goes into that. If AI and some kind of integration of AI goes into these hospitals, specifically they implement or around the world, or specifically at least trying uh, the out, we might see it, getting in, like kind of, and I will say, uh, like if a patient is describing, and a doctor does not have to write everything down because it just takes a lot of time, and it just gets with the help of voice and the kind of a recording it has, it can just record the patient voice and just fill out the form and the condition and the description of that patient, in that whole chart, and doctor can just review it, that whole chart with himself, whatever it is, and basically write it out. Like if there is some kind of edit needs to be done, because obviously doctor is front of that, because we know that AI can give errors, but at least that whole 10-15 minutes of time with a single patient can be reduced, because of that whole writing process is gone, and doctor can just review, okay, these are the things that needs to be kind of gone or replaced, because this is not what this is not actually patient said, because AI can be wrong. So you never know. like this can be get implemented in a lot of hospital, those kind of stuff. A lot of data can uh, be much more not just available at a time, like fetching data of a specific patient is kind of an hard, like what kind of medicine that patient is taking. So if both the doctors and basically patients are informed about their health and conditions, it is kind of an get easier for the treatment and ultimately a better quality of life ultimately for the patient, whatever it is, in whatever condition it is. So a lot of things are there in this situation right now. And we are definitely seeing a lot of, I definitely see especially a lot of doctors make YouTube videos, and I do see a lot of AI being used when it comes to major hospitals. Now I'm also watching a show, if you don't know, that is The Pit, which is in its second season, which I recently saw. Like I talked about the whole AI being used for as a kind of an uh, used for basically used to make a filler form, or that whole scene. If you are watching the current season, you might definitely know that they what kind of tech they are using. That is what kind of an stuff that I was talking about later too. Like a patient can talk, a doctor don't have to spend too much time on terms of administration, and much more time should be going into care and listening to the patient and the communication through it. So let's see what gets evolved, what we see later on. uh, Also the fact that OpenAI is entering into this complex risky business, we might definitely might see some kind of, because they as a company want to get out. They are, like I said again in the intro, they are trying to find a economical financial model for them, that they can be out there for the people and basically keep the business running with the help of, like they just want to sell it, keep the business running, because right now it is kind of an, a lot of investments are there out there on the company, but not the kind of output they might be getting. So a lot of factoring in the things, like this should work out for them. If not, a lot of things they are losing. They also lost their whole Apple deal. We don't know what we are going to see there. They also lost the kind of an, like they are also getting into the device, like the hardware consumer products. So even if that also fail, there is so much that people can only burn into one company. And it's not only OpenAI out there, like Google is there with their Gemini. A lot of other companies are out there making, even Elon Musk with his XAI. So a lot of other companies are out there in the competition right now. It's not just them or you know so they need to nail down that product, whatever it is that they are launching this year. Most probably I hope they launch it this year, but next year is kind of in projection. But this year, whatever the new models they are launching, whatever the new industries they are entering, like I said, now they have entered into the health industry. I hope they do it the right way. Also, what I mean by right way is, hope they consider every other possibilities, like I talked about using ChatGPT to replace your doctor. I don't think it should be there, no matter what. At least what the conditions, at least right now, we might have better models in future, but what the models we have right now, what the errors it gives you right now, I just hope people don't use it to replacement. I know like it is getting expensive right out there when it comes to healthcare systems, but we should not definitely encourage, because just because you want to make some couple of get some people into couple of subscription models, please don't. I don't want OpenAI to do it. So let's see how it evolves, how the whole tech evolves around health in hospitals, or ultimately the people equipments that people will be getting in home there. That is also another whole industry. So yeah, let's see. So I think, yeah, that's that's it, I will say, for this topic for me. We are going to definitely talk about more and more, much more cases of people, how people are using. We will be getting much more data regarding it. OpenAI will definitely release their own blogs on their website couple of months from now, or regarding health definitely. uh, let me know your thoughts regarding how you use your is do you even use your health ChatGPT or even any kind of other AI models that you have right now, Gemini, Claude, even XAI, Gork, just to check it out regarding some kind of health claims that someone person did, some kind of health information, or even any kind of your health related problems that you ask to the AI models that you have right now on your phone. So let me know. Like I specifically, like I talked about, I don't ask when I'm sick. I just don't ask AI models to about regarding my health when I'm sick. Basically, most of the time, the health related questions are regarding some kind of claims that I heard, kind of an like a kind of a video on YouTube Shorts or on Instagram, those kind of things, and then I just uh, go with the AI and just ask it if it's real or not, to kind of a debunk kind of an in health kind of an claims that these people do online, and also the fact that learning some kind of things that is hard to get explained from the books and the websites that we have right now. So yeah, those kind of stuff. Let me know how you use AI for your health to improve your health. I'm going to make a video regarding one about health, which will be publishing in the mid of 2026 this year only, which is regarding that video. You will be seeing that video in the month of July, that is first week, we like after WWDC, that is kind of an, I will say, I am that is kind, like I said, health is kind of a progressing thing, like it is now like kind of a transformation video regarding and how these models are answering these questions regarding it. I'm definitely going to get into that. So yeah, I am going to test these models. I'm going. So yeah, that's there. Let me know your thoughts regarding it, how you use AI and health. Also, your thoughts regarding whole Google and AI, about Apple Intelligence, what their situation is, and also what do you think about full self driving specifically. I talked about why the technology is not moving forward. What are the actual hurdles in front of this company, that they is the actual technology problem out there right now, or it's just a totally different problem, because just by the geographical area, every other country is totally different when it comes to the, not just the how the culture of driving is there right now. So here in India is totally different than what the people in the US are ultimately. So it is going to be not easy task for any other company to just give us full self driving level 4, even 3, kind of a big deal, commercially. Like a lot of people can buy it, and then the whole subscription model that Tesla is now starting, kind of, and I will say, getting away, like trying to get a lot of money from people, you know I will say, if you don't use it, don't get the subscription of, like, Tesla is in itself is a good car ultimately, but the problem with the subscription model, if you are not even using FSD, just don't take the subscription. And once until the let's say the new model, sorry, the FSD level 3 or level 4 actually comes in future, hopefully sooner, then you can definitely buy this. Just go and buy the subscription, because it is kind of an fascinating, like, cars are also becoming like kind of an smartphones. Like, if you buy a technological advanced car right now from this kind of an company, especially Tesla, these cars are capable of having level 4 till up to level 4 kind of a driving capabilities, they are saying it. So you can just go and buy these cars and start the subscription when it's actually out, rather than spending too much money on it, I believe. So yeah, we don't still don't know the price of the subscription. Let me know your thoughts regarding, do you even want full self driving for you? Are you that kind of a person who will be using full self driving? I know there are kind of it is not yes or no answer. It is kind of an depend on what kind of situation, but I believe uh, kind of an this, when it comes to full self driving kind of an thing, it is still not kind of an evolving, like I'm seeing, like past couple of years right now, which is hard. uh Again, kind of a crazy thing to even see, or even that tech is even crazy to even think about, like having a fully automatic car, even though there are out right now, but still it's still not fully capable of handling everything. So I believe, yeah, I think that's it for this week's episode. um Comment down your thoughts as usual again about all these topics are talked about in the video, because conversation are important in the comment section, because this is a two-way thing. We talked about news, we do discussion most of the time, and every week a new something come out. So I need a kind of an, or your side's kind of an opinion, so the conversation keeps kind of an better way that way. Because if I am just giving one kind of perspective, it kind of an get kind of an, for me even, in my head, where I when I don't see different kind of perspectives regarding some news or some things I talked about, it becomes kind of an fatigue, and also kind of an boring for me to even have this kind of conversation, because I'm saying sometimes in a one perspective. So I had to go right now. If you, now I know that you don't comment right now, but I have to go through YouTube, or the comment section of a lot of blogs that people post, or even on Twitter, to see people's reaction, what the perspective that can people other people's perspective is apart from mine. So that's why I said conversation are important. If there is some kind of interesting conversation that is happening in the comment section, I can highlight that conversation and the comment in the next episode, and we can talk about in depth regarding that. And also uh, the also the fact that if you comment down, the conversation keeps going, and I will, that is much more important for me right now here, at least on this podcast channel, I will say. This is it for this week's episode of the Tech Guy podcast. I will say see you guys in the next episode. See ya.